Welcome back to Anything You Want. If the stories that move the spotlight and shape the tabloids are your weakness, then you are in the right place. Before we unfold today's feature, do yourself a favor, subscribe to Anything You Want, tap the join button if you want to support more deep dives like this, and drop a like and a comment so we know which celebrity sagas you want next. Now, let us turn the page. In the luminous intersection between public adoration and private longing, few narratives have held the collective fascination of entertainment watchers lately as tightly as the relationship between Sila Turkoglu and Atta Yildiz. Their union, alternately celebrated and scrutinized, functions as a living study of how contemporary romance is performed and consumed under the incessant glare of social media. Photographs, candid moments, and carefully curated posts have rendered a portrait not merely of two people in love, but of a phenomenon, the transformation of intimate life into cultural text. Observers who follow celebrity arcs closely will note that Sila's trajectory has always been beset by a curious oscillation between vulnerability and composure. In recent months, that pattern has recentered around Atta Yildiz, whose presence beside her at events and in photographs has been read as a marker of renewal. From well-lit gala entrances to quieter dinner snapshots, the imagery emanating from their circle suggests a couple negotiating visibility with deliberate restraint. Yet this effort to keep the private life guarded has paradoxically intensified public interest, for secrecy often fuels speculation rather than quelling it. What altered the tenor of the discussion, however, was Halil Ibrahim Ceyhan's decision to speak after a prolonged silence. His statement, measured, concise, and devoid of sensational flourish, arrived like a quiet corrective to the cacophony, that the past belongs to him as it does to anyone, and that people must move onward along their separate paths. Such an utterance, simple on its face, functions in several ways, as closure for some, as an invitation to reassess priorities for others, and as a reminder that humane dignity can still surface in the most tabloid-driven dialogues. That his comment drew both praise and critique reveals how polarized public taste has grown when confronted with matters of the heart. Yet, while Halil's stance injected a note of genteel resolution, it did not erase curiosity. Followers of Sila and Atta now parse every shared smile for implicit meaning, every body language cue for emotional freight. The couple's closest friends insist that discretion remains their preference. Private dinners and low-key gatherings are chosen over staged displays. Still, privacy in the modern era is porous by nature. Fans, paparazzi, and algorithmic feeds make discretion a fleeting commodity. Thus, what is intended as an intimate exchange between two people frequently becomes the subject of commentary threads, reaction videos, and listicles. Those reactionary spaces, comment sections, fan pages, and late-night panels reveal much about the contemporary appetite for celebrity narratives. Some viewers are moved by the simple wish for a beloved star's happiness. Others treat romantic developments as evidence in an ongoing biographical investigation. In this specific case, the resurfacing of details from Sila's past life with Halil has prompted debate about whether prior relationships ought to be revived for public consumption. Questions swirl. Does knowledge of history enrich our understanding of the present, or does it unfairly anchor a person to former versions of themselves? In framing these questions, it becomes clear that the relationship between Sila and Atta functions not only as an object of affection but also as a cultural mirror. Their image together, Sila's expressive smile set against Atta's attentive posture, is read by followers as emblematic of a larger narrative, that the pain of endings can, with time, be reworked into the warmth of new beginnings. Yet the same visual data is also commodified. Every image becomes a headline, every glance a subplot. Media cycles that once prioritized scandal have softened in places, favoring instead prolonged human interest arcs that keep audiences returning for updates. At Anything You Want, we are mindful of our role within that loop. We do not seek to inflame, rather, we aim to illuminate the contours of public figures' emotional lives while respecting the dignity they deserve. That said, your voice matters to us. Do you think ex-partners should remain off-limits once a new relationship surfaces? Or does contextual detail help fans understand a star more fully? Tell us below, and if this angle intrigues you, consider clicking join to enable us to produce longer, investigative features just like this one. Nevertheless, not all commentary is benign. Detractors argue that intense media scrutiny can warp authentic connection into performative spectacle, pressuring couples to curate emotions for likes and impressions. Others defend Sela and Ada's choice to occasionally share images of their lives, arguing that public figures have always mediated their private realities through public platforms, and that modern audiences crave relatable glimpses rather than hollow PR statements. This friction between protection and sharing is one of the era's defining tensions for any celebrity couple. Looking forward, the weeks ahead promise further public moments, industry soirees, premieres, and perhaps collaborative appearances that will inevitably attract coverage. Whether Sela and Ada choose to allow those moments to remain intimate or to transform them into public statements of commitment will shape the next chapter. Meanwhile, Halil Ibrahim Ceyhan's poised response remains an instructive counterpoint, a demonstration that former attachments can be acknowledged without escalating into spectacle. Before we close, a quick reminder from your Anything You Want family. If you enjoy richly reported pieces that go beyond surface gossip, hit subscribe, like, and especially that join button to back the kind of journalism that balances curiosity with respect. Your membership helps us secure interviews, expand our reporting, and produce the longer-form narratives you love. Now, we leave you with an invitation, not merely to observe, but to engage. Which Turkish celebrity couple would you like us to cover next on Anything You Want? Are there figures whose private stories you think deserve more thoughtful treatment, less sensationalism? Comment below with the names and we'll prioritize the most requested profiles. In closing, the story of Sela Turkoglu and Ata Yildiz magnifies a broader cultural phenomenon, the interplay of past and present, silence and speech, privacy and publicity. It reminds us that relationships forged in the public eye evolve under unusual pressures and that dignified responses, like Halil's, can redirect volatile conversations toward empathy. Watch closely in the coming days. Whether through a quiet dinner snapshot or a bold public appearance, the next chapter is likely to arrive when we least expect it. Thank you for spending your time with Anything You Want. If this deep dive resonated, support our channel by liking, subscribing, and pressing join, and keep the conversation alive with your comments below. We'll return with more carefully crafted features, exclusive takes, and the kind of context that turns fleeting headlines into thoughtful stories. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep watching.